Yeah. Okay. Let me know if everybody can see me. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Because I am trying to work this OBS software. Like, it is really, really hard to figure this stuff out. But it says I'm broadcasting. So, if y'all can see me, can y'all put something in the chat? Say what's up. Something. You know? But what's up, y'all? My name is Miss Fix If y'all already don't know. Y'all already know, though. It's me. So... Hey y'all, see, now I can see y'all in the chat. What's up, y'all? Dang. Took me forever to get up here. But yeah, we in here now. We in here. I'm good. I've been trying to get this stuff together for y'all. I got a fire bomb ass presentation for y'all today. Like, if y'all can fix your credit with this, it's impossible. But you know, nothing's impossible with me, so you understand. All right, now, I need to get me a cup or two, you know what I'm saying? How y'all doing? Hey, Sasha. Hey, Ebony. Hey, Antonio. What's up, y'all? All right, I'm going to get started in a couple of seconds because I don't want to waste nobody's time. I want this to be replayable and playbackable and all that fancy shit. So, basically, long story short, I'm here to educate y'all on how y'all can remove anything from your credit at any point in time, because that is y'all right as the people that y'all are. So we're gonna go over all of that and more today. If y'all got the 24-hour Equifax remover joint, put some fire in the chat, or put a 1 in the chat if you want a desktop. But if y'all got that, y'all can use that to remove anything off of Equifax. If y'all can't remove anything with that, you just need to keep calling. So you can either use that method for Equifax, or you can use this method for, basically anything. So, all right, bet. Let's get started. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are just the best type of people, I promise you. I really love you guys. All right. Cool. So, this is how to get anything off of your credit report. The reason why you're not getting things off of your credit report is not the reason you may think. I know it's probably because you think, oh, well, the shit just don't come off, or, it's just entirely too hard to do that. But the reason why nothing is working for you is because you probably don't know the difference between being a consumer and a citizen. Now, if you know the difference between being a consumer and a citizen, go ahead and put it in the chat. But I don't, you know what I'm saying? If you've been on my page, you probably know. But if you haven't been studying my page long enough, I don't expect you to know. Cool. So let's get into the difference between a consumer and a citizen. So basically, a citizen is somebody that has no power in a corporation. It's somebody who's not protected by any consumer rights, and they have no power over themselves, and they're actually owned by a corporation. So if you didn't know by now, or if you didn't already know, the United States is considered a corporation under federal law. So you, a citizen, or if you want to identify yourself as that, are considered a property of that corporation. That's why you have to, kind of renounce your citizenship when you move to another country or stuff like that, because they literally consider you part of their personal property. So the difference between a citizen and a consumer is somebody that buys things. A consumer is something that moves things around on the chessboard of the economy. So nothing can move without the consumer, because the consumer is the one with the money. The consumer is the one with the capital, the things to spend. So they're protected by consumer law because they want consumers to be able to spend their money freely. You can choose to enforce these consumer rights at any given time because, that's your right as a person who's spending money with them. If you go to somewhere and you're spending $500 at, somebody lemonade stand, and you're basically the only customer they have, you basically kind of own them in a way, because it's like, if you're the only customer they have and you don't like their lemonade, it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna just come back. I'm gonna just go to another lemonade stand if you don't give me what I want. So basically, that's the idea of being a consumer. You're basically just a person with the power to, do whatever you want because you're the one with all the money. Cool. So now that you know that you're a consumer, we need to get into knowing the power that you have as a consumer. So usually people think that when they get something in the mail saying that they owe a debt, it's, they have to pay it because, just a piece of letter says so. But I'm here to tell you that that's really not the case. So basically, you have different consumer rights that tell you when you shouldn't have to do something. And basically, if you don't feel like paying a debt, or if you never agreed to pay that debt, then you're not legally held liable to paying that debt. So the reason for this is because you actually are the original creditor in every single consumer credit transaction. So what that basically means is when you go to the bank to go get a credit card and they give a credit card to you, it's not the bank actually loaning you the money. It's actually you technically loaning yourself the money, because they use your social security card to go to the government and say, hey, Federal Reserve, I need such and such amount for this person. And they go get that money from the Federal Reserve because the bank is not actually allowed to lend out its own money. And once they get that from the Federal Reserve, they actually bring that back to you and loan that to you in the form of a credit card. So technically, you're loaning yourself money from your own Federal Reserve account, and it's basically just being transferred to you in the form of a credit card. So you pretty much originate every single transaction that you are in. I don't know if you saw my story a couple days ago, but I was trying to explain the fact that you can't really dang, I lost my train of thought. Sorry. I was trying to explain that when you start a credit transaction, the government has to create a debt in order to give that debt to you, because the debt doesn't exist yet because you just asked for it. So basically what happens is you ask for a $10,000 credit card, or you ask for a credit card, and whatever they decide to ask for you is what they give you. But they ask for that certain amount, and the government says, okay, let me go create this debt for you and give you that in the form of a credit card. That actually creates money and puts the money into the economy. So you actually create money every time you get a debt. So moving on to the fact that that you start every single credit transaction, your rights behind that are what protects you as a consumer. So there's a couple of different acts that you can go over that actually protects your rights as a consumer, so you can actually make those credit transactions. And they are the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Fair Credit Billing Act, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, the Consumer Credit Protection Act. And there's a couple more, like the Truth in Lending Act and the the CCPA, Credit Consumer Protection Act, something like that. Consumer Credit Protection Act, something like that. But basically, these are the different acts that you can use to your advantage to get things off of your credit report. This is because if you didn't agree to pay these debts in advance, for example, right, I want you to put in the chat, if you wrote a letter and you signed at the bottom of the letter, say, hey, Wells Fargo, or hey, Chase Bank, I really want to pay this debt, signed me. Just put in the chat if you ever wrote a letter like that. Let me know, because that's usually the only way you can actually agree to paying a debt. If you said, hey, Wells Fargo, I'm going to pay you this money, signed me, then it gets a little confusing because you actually in writing put that you wanted to pay that debt. So if you don't remember doing that at any point in time, pretty sure you don't, then you don't have a problem with getting these things off your credit report. So let's move on to a couple of the different parts of these acts. So under these acts, there are a few different ways that these debt collectors and these credit bureaus have been violating your rights this whole time in front of your face. So we're going to go over like the top 5 most common ones, and then I'm going to get into different ways that you can use those most common ones to actually get the things off your credit report. So the first one is communication violations. Any form of communication through phone, text, email, or any other method that you did not authorize in advance is a violation of your consumer rights. So if Wells Fargo called you and said, hey, I'm trying to collect the debt, or if Chase called you and said, hey, I'm trying to collect the debt, or if Capital One called you and said, hey, I'm trying to collect the debt, and you did not authorize them to call you in advance, then that's already a violation of your rights. If they called you at any point in time that you did not expect them to call you, already a violation of your rights. This will include anything from mail, email, text, any way that they try to communicate with you, and you didn't allow that form of communication in advance, is a violation of your rights. And you can check out these rights under 15 USC 1692C of the FDCPA. Let me know if you guys understand so far. Bet. All right. Okay. Now I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, because I, be talking real fast and I be losing people. So like, just make sure everybody on the same page. Okay? We know if they call you, it's a problem. If they don't call you and they email you, still a problem. If they send you mail that you didn't expect to get, still a problem. I'm just letting you know that in advance. Hold on, I gotta find my charger for my what? Yo, that'd be funny if it died like randomly. But anyways, let's move on to harassment and abuse, right? This is my favorite one because more than likely you've been harassed or abused by a debt collector in some way, shape, or form. So it's like an automatic win for you. My bad. So, as a consumer, no one can tell you what you consider harassment. If a debt collector tells you that you have to pay a debt or will close your credit card, that can be viewed as harassment because that's technically a threat. If somebody says or somebody gives you like an ultimatum, or they say they're going to do something to you if you don't do something, then that's technically called a threat. So you can view that as harassment. You could have grew up in a family where, such language is viewed as abusive or considered harassment. The cool thing about America is you can identify as whatever you want, and nobody can define what your truth is but you, because you have the First Amendment freedom of speech. This is the power that you have as a consumer. So threatening to take away this power is where you get into these violations, and these violations are subject to compensation. So if you send somebody multiple letters or phone calls 2 or more times, that can be considered harassment, especially if they told you to stop or if they weren't answering the phone multiple times. Only you can define what is harassment and abuse to you, and you can definitely hold them accountable for that. If you want to learn more about this specific law, you can look at 15 U.S.C. 1692D of the FDCPA.
Did you know it had closed caption?
What?
It's like.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I turned it on. I think it was supposed to be on.
You're live.
All right, bet. Can y'all see me again? Cause I'm stressed out. Hold on. Let me check my webcam because it's being retarded. I don't see it on. Properties. Is that the letters? I don't know how to turn it off. Alright, hold on. I got you. But why my computer died, y'all? Like, I'm sorry. This is the second time this happened to me while I was on live. You would think I would I would plug it in. I'm trying to make my video work. I don't know what's going on with this. Oh, wow. I think I did it. Y'all. Alright. Hold on. Oh, but I'm in the dark. Hold on. I'm in the dark. I don't know where the thing is. Don't mind me, y'all. I'm trying to get my life together. Why? Alright. Lord. We back. Anyways. How y'all doing? Once again. Now. We already went over communications. We already went over harassment and abuse. Let's get into false and misleading representation. Now, I just got a letter like this, which is so funny. I wish I could find the letter for y'all. But some credit card was trying to act like they was a attorney and talking about they was going to take me to court. And at the bottom of the letter, they're going to say, we are debt collectors and this is an attempt to collect the debt. And then they're going to try to cite the Debt Collection Practices Act. Like that protects that. Anyways, it was a really funny letter. I'm going to have a field day with they behinds. But all I'm saying is, if you get these types of crazy letters in the mail, please don't mind these people. They don't know. They know not what they do. Okay? So let's get into false and misleading representation. Now, false and misleading representation can happen on your report by a debt collector. Or by a debt collector. So it could be by the credit bureaus or by a debt collector. A debt collector cannot be a lawyer, okay? A debt collector cannot be a lawyer. Lawyers do not go around collecting debt from people. They represent people in court. That's the only job a lawyer has. So if a lawyer claims to falsely represent a debt collector or a third party, this is a violation. If you ever have been called to court, or a corporation cannot represent itself in court over a debt. This is misleading representation. So, basically what that means is a corporation cannot sue you. They cannot take you to court by themselves. Like, they would have to go and hire a some type of third party something. And in doing that, that is a violation. So, it's like a whole basically loophole and violations. So when somebody is owed money, that means they're in the negative. If you owe a bill and it shows a positive balance, that means it's misleading information. What does that mean? This is important. So if you've ever gotten a bill and it does not show negative whatever you owe, then that is not a bill that you owe. Do you go to your bank account and say, let me pay off this $50 debt that I have in my bank account? No? All right. So this does apply to your billing statements that you get in the mail, and they say you owe positive $200. How do you owe something that is in a positive balance? Your bank account is in a positive balance, meaning that you put money into it and there is money in there for you to withdraw. So, if there is a negative balance, that means that you withdrew too much money and that now you owe the bank money because you took too much, right? That's what a negative balance means. So if your bills come in a negative balance, then they might have a little bit more financial standing, but they don't. More than likely, you're going to get a bill and it's going to come in a positive balance. And that in itself is false or misleading representation. You can read more about this under 15 USC 1692E of the FDCPA. Please go research this stuff, y'all. I am not lying to y'all, and I am not playing with y'all. So, let's get into validation of debts. A debt collector must provide the consumer with certain basic information. If that information was not in the initial communication, and if the consumer has not paid the debt 5 days after the initial communication, all of the following information must be sent to the consumer in written form. This goes for late payments and stuff like that. So like if they try to say that you owe something and you don't pay it in a certain amount of time or whatever time that they feel like you're supposed to pay it in, and you don't pay it in that certain amount of time and you don't pay it 5 days after you get notice of that form, then they're supposed to do these steps. They're supposed to give you the amount of the debt in a negative balance, the name of the creditor to whom the debt is owed, and it better be the person that's writing you because no third party is supposed to have your debt, and the notice that consumer has 30 days to dispute the debt before it is assumed to be valid. Now, this is very, 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 very important. If they do not tell you that you have 30 days to dispute the debt before it is assumed valid, then this is false and misleading, and it is a violation of your rights, because you're supposed to be able to have time to dispute the validity of the debt before you actually are held liable for paying the debt. So this goes for all the people that had repos the same day that they were supposed to pay their, car note, or they had evictions 15 days after they was late on their rent, stuff like that. All of these things fall under validation of debts. Every single debt that somebody accuses you of owing has to be validated, and you have a right to validate that debt within 30 days of being accused of owing said debt. If it comes in a negative balance, if it don't come in a negative balance, then you don't owe a debt, because how you gonna pay something that comes in a positive balance? Anyways, so you can read more about this under 15 USC 1692G of the FDCPA. Let's get into unfair practices. 96% of the time, this is every single debt collector in the world. So, a debt collector may not use unfair or unconscionable means to collect or attempt to collect a debt. Specifically, a debt collector may not collect any interest, fee, charge, or expense that is incidental to the principal obligation unless it was authorized by the original debt agreement or otherwise permitted by law. So, what does all that fancy jargon mean? That basically means that if they try to charge you something that was not originally in your original contract or finance charge, then it is already an unfair or illegal practice. So basically that means if they try to charge you a late payment and they didn't say, we're going to charge you this amount of late payments in the next 12 months in the original finance charge, then that is an unfair practice. And that is a violation of 15 USC 1692F of the FDCPA. So, you can use this to get plenty of things off your credit report just off of that one alone, because they're not supposed to charge you any type of extra finance charge. They're not supposed to change your finance charge in any way, shape, or form in the duration of the term. And if they try to tell you that you owe anything outside of the finance charge or the predetermined interest that they already said you were going to pay, or if they try to change your interest rate in any way, already an unfair practice, might as well get compensation for the violation. So, they also cannot take or threaten to repossess or disable property when the creditor has no enforceable right to property or does not intend to do so, or if under the law the property may not be taken, repossessed, or disabled. All of that basically means they cannot threaten to take any of your property. They cannot threaten to garnish your waste. They cannot threaten to take your house or your car or your land or anything like that until they validate the debt. Now, can they validate the debt? No, because only the original creditor can validate the debt under 15 USC 1692F of the FDCPA. So, if they try to use a postcard to contact a consumer about a debt, that is an unfair practice. Why is that an unfair practice? Because they are not supposed to contact you with any type of logo stating that they are a debt collector. So, for example, if Wells Fargo sends you a piece of mail with their Wells Fargo letter on it or their Wells Fargo logo on it, it is already an unfair practice because they are not supposed to send you any type of mail that indicates that they are collecting a debt. So, unless you let them and you wrote Wells Fargo and say, hey, write me all that stuff. But I'm pretty sure you didn't, right? Cool. So, let me know if we get all of that so far. How are we doing with it so far? Let me go back and look at the chat real quick because I want to see what y'all talking about. Okay. Period. Okay? So as long as y'all is following along, give me a 1 in the chat, give me some fire in the chat, whatever you guys to do. I'm not trying, confuse y'all or talk y'all head off. I'm just trying to give y'all the stuff how it comes, okay? So, basically, I just need y'all to understand that anything they could possibly do to collect the debt from you that they probably already doing is by federal law a violation of your rights. So, if it's a violation of your rights, I need you to get compensated for these violations of your rights because doing too much, okay? If somebody violates you, you're supposed to get compensated for that, period. No matter what happens. So, let's get back into it. Did I start presenting? Oh, I did. Okay. Alright, back. So, now let's talk about actually getting the money that you deserve, right? Because that's what we all came here to do. Not only are you going to use those laws to get the things off your credit report because they can't stay on your credit report if they're not valid debts, which, how are you going to validate it? Because, exactly, no original creditor. You are the original creditor. Okay, so every violation of the FDCPA and any of the other acts that were previously mentioned is $1,000 in compensation. So, every violation we found up until this point is an $1,000 violation. How do we prove it? All we have to do is look at 15 USC 1692K 2A. Basically, what that means is a debt collector who fails to comply with any provision of the FDCPA is liable for all of the damages sustained as a result of that failure, which is the finance charge that was associated with that, punitive damages, which are the $1,000 in compensation that you are entitled to, which is about $1,000. It can be anywhere from $200 to $1,000. I would ask for the full amount just because you are able to under federal law. And in a class action, you can get up to $1,000 for each named plaintiff, or you can get up to $500,000 for the entire class action. Now, I don't know if you guys heard that Equifax is currently in a class action lawsuit right now with the federal government for scamming y'all under these federal laws, just like I said. So, costs and reasonable attorney's fees are also included in that. So if you do have to sue them and use any type of attorneys, then they do have to pay those attorney's fees that are associated with that. And more than likely, you're going to win because Consumers always win. But let's talk about how the process goes to actually get this money, because you can't just go up there and be like, yo, y'all owe me $1,000, like, here's my cash app. I wish we could do that, but unfortunately not. So first thing you got to do in any type of credit repair situation, in the first place, no matter if you're doing it this way or Jack's way or whoever's way, if they not opting out of sharing your information, they don't know what they doing, and they don't need to be doing it, okay? Because they wasting your time, my time, and everybody else's time on here. So basically, I done went to the wrong damn thing. You need to opt out of sharing your information first. This basically means that you as a consumer have a federal protected right as a consumer to not share your information with anybody. You don't have to share your information with these people. That's why every single thing you do has to ask your permission first to share your information. They don't just share your information. They say, do you agree to these terms and conditions? And just share your information and blah, blah, blah. And then more than likely, because you want the thing that's on the next page, you'd be like, okay, whatever, I'll just share my information. That's more than likely how your information got out there in the first place. If you just said no every time, you'd probably be a ghost. But basically, you have the right to opt out of sharing that information with anybody. You can do that at any point in time for free. There's no cost to doing this. There's about a big, long list of things that you got to opt out of. But the top 5 ones are LexisNexis, SageStream, ARS, Check Systems, and did I miss one? No, I don't think that was. No. Oh, CoreLogix, right. Okay. So, data furnishers are people that furnish the data that is on your credit report to your credit report. So, data furnishers would be people like TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. But they also have what are called secondary data furnishers, which are like smaller credit bureaus that actually pull your information from like hospitals or your banks or stuff like that, and they'll go and transfer that information to the bigger credit bureaus. So these are the people that are like LexisNexis and SageStream and ARS and Check Systems and CoreLogix. These people actually take different types of information depending on their niche bureau and report that type of information to the credit bureaus. For example, Check System only deals with banks. They go to your bank and they be like, yo, I'm trying to find out what this person doing so I can report it to TransUnion. That's basically their only job in life, is to just, be a rat. So you can opt out of sharing your information with any of these people at any point in time. That will actually help you to get approved for more credit cards, because they can't see your banking information. Or if you want to apply for a new bank and you had something happened with you in the last bank, then they can't see that information anymore either. So you can text the word opt out, OPTOUT, all one word, to 888-417-0057 to get access to this entire list of things to opt out of for free. So there's different types of things to opt out of. You can opt out of sharing your employment information, your tenant information, your rental information, bank information, medical information, anything you can possibly think of that's on your credit report. You can opt out of sharing that information, and they'll no longer be able to put that type of stuff on there until you opt back into sharing that information. So once again, you can text the word OPTOUT, opt out, to 888-417-0057 to get access to this list for free. All right, so let's move on. Now, the next step in this process, after you finish opting out of your data furnishers so that they can't share this information anymore. So basically, the most important reason that we want to opt out is because when we're doing the credit repair process and they're trying to go back and validate these debts that we're asking them to validate, we're saying, hey, how do you know I owe this debt? They have to go back to the person that said you owe this debt and be like, all right, She said she, you know what I'm saying, don't owe a debt. So, what, like, how did you find out that you owe this? She, like, what's going on? So, they basically have to go back to the secondary data furnishers and be like, you said she owed us debt. Can you go ask the bank, like, why is she saying this? Like, she wants some weird stuff. So, if they can't go back to the secondary data furnishers, like if you block all communication with them, and the secondary data furnishers could be like, yo, they said I can't talk to you, my bad, then there's no way for them to validate that debt. If they can't validate that debt, then that debt has to come off your credit report. Period. Every time. So, let's get into debt validation completely. Now, not only do you want to send a validation of debt, but you also want to stop them from communicating with you altogether, because any violation of you sending this cease and desist is a violation of your rights, and you can add that as another violation and get compensated for that violation as well. So the first thing you want to tell them to do is stop contacting me without my permission. I did not tell you to do this. Like, please get off my line, you know what I'm saying? But the first thing you want to do is send this out, because any communication after that is automatically a violation. And if it's a violation, you can add that to your list of violations that you can get paid for. You know what I'm saying? So, what you want to understand about this process is that the court starts in the mail. As soon as you send the cease and desist, court has started. Y'all already in court. Y'all already in front of the judge. You are the judge. Y'all have to figure it out right here. Well, you're not the judge, but y'all have to figure it out right here, unless you want to take it to a higher court. So, court starts here. So a cease and desist is a legally enforceable order from a court or a government agency directing someone to stop engaging in a particular activity. So, if you want them to stop engaging in that particular activity, you have to send them a cease and desist. If they're about to take your car, send them a cease and desist. If they're about to, try to garnish their wages, send them a cease and desist. If they try to do anything after that, it's already a violation. Always start with a cease and desist, because this is what's going to stop them in their tracks, basically. And then anything after that, we have to figure out before we can, move forward. This will cease all payment or debt collection action until they verify by the original creditor, you, who it belongs to. So if you do not verify that it belongs to you, no payment is going to ensue. So, not only do you want to send the cease and desist, but you want to also ask them to validate that debt. A debt validation letter basically just makes the debtor verify that you owe the debt in the first place. So, if not only do you want them to stop saying that you owe the debt, you also want them to verify that you owe the debt. They want to say that you owe a debt, but they don't want to bring any proof. So you need some type of physical proof that you actually owe this debt, or, you're not going to be held liable for paying it. So, thank you. You always have the right to have any alleged debt validated. Every single debt in the world has to be validated before you are liable for paying it. I don't care if it's a parking ticket. I don't care if it's a Airbnb stay. I don't care. Whatever debt they are holding you liable for, that's saying that you have to pay, they have to verify that you are the person that you has to pay that. They have to verify that you agreed to paying that debt in the first place. So if they can't verify that, because you never agreed to that in the first place, I never agreed to paying the debt a day in my life. If you never agreed to that, and they cannot tell you owe a debt. Okay? So, understand a copy of your address is not validation. Understand a copy of your bank statement is not validation. Understand any copy of anything that doesn't have your written signature on it is not validation. Pretty much anything. They will send you anything in the world. They will send you the calendar date that you opened the account, like that was supposed to make some type of difference. I don't care what it is. If it doesn't have your wet ink written signature, it is not a validation of debt. If you did not write to them that you will pay that debt, I agree to paying this debt and I sign on this dotted line, then you don't owe that debt. Okay? Okay. So, in the event it does come back validated, you can point out these violations because they're lying. They're just lying. If you did not tell them you owe the debt, there is no way they can validate the debt. There was no proof that you said, hey, I want to pay this debt. If they cannot provide you with that piece of information, then the debt is not valid. And all you have to do is let them know this multiple times, because sometimes they a little, you know what I'm saying? Like, they slow sometimes. So you have to scream it from the mountaintops, per se. So you have to make sure that they send you physical evidence that you actually owe that debt. You have to make sure that they send you a contract or some type of something that you signed, that you already knew that they had, saying that you owe that debt. And that's prior to them, violating your rights. If they violated your lending rights in any way, it already voids that contract. So even if there was a contract, if they violated your rights in order to get that contract, it's already null and void. Moving on to the affidavit of truth. Now, what is the affidavit of truth? I don't know why I keep going to these other ones. Anyways, now what is the affidavit of truth, right? An affidavit is a statement of your truth. So, what do we know already? We know that they violated my rights some way. We know that they violated, and we need some type of compensation for this. So that's basically what an affidavit of truth is going to say. It's, yo, you violated my rights. I'm aware that you violated my rights. I see you, basically. And these are the different rights that you violated. I'm going to need some type of compensation for this. That's basically, long story short. You can write it just like that if you feel like it. It's still going to work the same way. But an affidavit of truth is the truth of your statement. So it's basically everything I just said, all the violations summed up into a letter. This is the first page of what you would send the notary to actually get the affidavit notarized. You can see the list of the different things that you would send in an affidavit on the number of pages. So number 1, you're going to send the affidavit of truth to get notarized. You're also going to send your invoice for the violation. So each violation is $1,000. So you're going to add up those $1,000 violations and you're going to put them on an invoice. And then you're going to send the different exhibits that you have. So how did they violate you? You're going to show exactly what bank statement, whatever they violated you on. And you're just basically going to give them a copy of that. So once you do that, you can have that notarized, send that off to the creditor, whoever is saying that you owe the debt, and they're going to have to either refute that line by line with another affidavit. So they're going to have something that looks exactly like your paper that says, you said this my answer. You said this my answer. Line by line by line, exactly what you said. They need to respond to every single sentence. So if they do not do that, that is also a violation that you can add to your list of stuff. Okay? So there's no wrong way to write an affidavit because it's your truth. I don't care if you want to curse them out. I don't, suggest cursing them out. I mean, I might curse them out from time to time. But however you want to write the affidavit, it's your affidavit. So you can write it however you want. The first thing you want to do is you want to title it Affidavit of Truth. You want to put at the top, Affidavit of Truth, big bold letters, just like how it says Affidavit of Notary Presentment up there. And then the second part is basically you saying, hey, this is who I am. This is what I identify myself as, a consumer. And these are my rights that I have as a consumer under federal law. This is the part where it says I'm a consumer, whoopty whoopty woo. That's all you have to do. So basically, you want to write a statement of truth after that. What is a statement of truth? Basically, your truth. What is the problem that, is at hand? Did they violate your rights by calling you too many times? Did they try to collect the debt from you without your permission? This, that, and the third. You want to write that, all the stuff that they did to violate you, you want to write that in a big old sentence, a big old paragraph that you can send to them. So basically, long story short, say for example, Wells Fargo violated my rights, which, they did multiple times, but say they did that. And they sent me a letter and said, hey, you have to pay this $5,000 or, we going to shut your card down. Now, they've already violated my rights 3 separate ways just in that one sentence. Y'all wasn't supposed to contact me, number one. Never told y'all to contact me. Never gave y'all, permission to contact me. I don't know who told y'all to do that. Number 2, y'all accused me of owing a debt. That is obscene and profane language. Like, I am really, appalled. Like, what? Can you imagine somebody just walk up to you on the street like, you owe me $50? Whoa. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, you don't have to fall into society standards of whatever they feel like obscene and profane language is. If it's obscene and profane to you, if it makes you feel some type of way, that is abusive and harassment behavior. So you can add that into a list of your violations. So you saying I owe a debt, I think that's obscene and profane language. That's a violation of my FDCPA rights. I get another $1,000. Now, you said I have to pay it or y'all gonna shut my card down. That's funny because I feel like that's a threat. Don't you feel like that's you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's a threat. So if I feel threatened, that's also abusive and harassing behavior. I keep saying harassing like that's the word. That's also abusive behavior. So I can also hold you accountable for that. So that's about $3,000 I just made off of one sentence from y'all. I don't think y'all should keep talking. That's why I'm sending a cease and desist. But anyways, so basically you want to put all of those problems. Hey, Wells Fargo, I never told y'all to contact me. I never told y'all I was going to pay no debt. Who said I owe a debt? First of all, anyways, sorry, I get real. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, but you basically want to list all your problems, and after you list all your problems, you want to say what laws they violated. So on those pages, at the bottom of the pages that I were just on, it says the laws that they violated at the bottom of the page. When I said if they call you, that's a law that they violated. If they try to threaten you, that's a law that they violated. All the laws are listed at the bottom of the pages. You can go back in the video or whatever you got to do, or you can check, or you can text list LIST to 888-417-0057 to get a free violations checklist. And that joint is popping because I just got done that joint. So if you text the number, you get like 3 violations per act that you can literally go through the questions like, did they threaten you? Did they call you at any inopportune time? You can literally just look at the list, go through the list, and check the check marks off. Like, okay, they did do this, they did do this, and they did do this. The law is right there, and it's going to be super dumb easy for you to write your affidavit of truth. And the joint is free. So once again, text list LIST to 888-417-0057 for your free violations checklist. So the next part that you have to do is certify under penalty of perjury / reiterate the statement of truth. Basically what you just said happened. And what happens if you don't get what you want, which is them violations and that compensation. You basically have to let them know, if they don't follow this, y'all owe me this amount of money. And I'm going to give you the invoice for the amount of money because y'all violated this, okay? That's it. You sign it, you notarize it, you send it off to them, and you send a certified mail. It has to be notarized or it's not going to be enforceable. So keep that in mind on your stuff. I don't want to overcomplicate the process for you. I try to make it as easy as physically possible for you to get this money and get this stuff off your credit report. So I gave you the violations checklist. I gave you the list of places to opt out of. So all you literally have to do is opt out, draft the statement of truth. It literally could be 5 sentences saying, hey, I'm a consumer. You violated me by calling me. You violated me under this law, and I want my $1,000. You know what I'm saying? You sign it, notarize it. You put the invoice in the back saying, here go the invoice for the $1,000 you gonna pay me. Here go the part that you violated me at. Here go the exhibit. And you send it off. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to overcomplicate it. So, if that makes sense to you, drop a 1 in the chat. If it sounds too complicated, drop a 0 in the chat. I just want to know where we at. You know what I'm saying? This is a copy of the invoice that you can send them. You can draft the invoice on Google for free. They have a free invoice generator that you can, literally just Google. And you just put the amount of violations that they violated. You put your name, the name of the creditor, and you put the compensation amount that you want. So if they violated you 15 times, you put $15,000. If they violated you 5 times, you put $5,000. And you put the date. And you send that bad boy off with the affidavit. Now, once you have found your violations, drafted your affidavit, and attached the invoice, please make sure you make copies of these documents and send them off certified mail. So you have to get a tracking number so you make sure they get that joint, okay? Please. So make sure you get it's like a little green tracking receipt that you get from the post office when you set off certified mail. Make sure you get one of those. So every post office offers this. You can do this online through lob.com for I think it's like $6 or $3 or something like that. And then you can also do it at the post office. So depends on what you want to do. We do this because you want to have a paper trail and you want to be able to make sure that you can prove that they got the letter. So the tracking number and stuff is going to make sure that you can prove that they got the letter. So, if for some weird reason you have sent them these letters and affidavits and you've done this 2-3 times and they, try and play with you, they on BS basically, what you want to do is you want to bring this to their boss, okay? So everybody's boss, regardless of what they do, is always going to be the CFPB and the FTC. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, that's the bureau that enforces your consumer rights. And the Federal Trade Commission, that's the people that enforce the criminal rights. I said the criminal rights. They enforce the criminal action behind your consumer rights. So if you want to go to the CFPB or the FTC and say, yo, Wells Fargo is not listening to my affidavits, they not sending me back my money, I already asked for my money 3 times and they on crazy stuff, you can send them a letter saying any of the stuff that you said to them. You can send them the copies of the affidavits that you sent to them. Any correspondence you sent to them, you can send to the CFPB and FTC, and they will handle it for you. So they accept all credit disputes, all type of debt complaints, any type of complaint that you have about fraud, identity theft, stuff like that. Have everything that they put on your credit report is technically fraud, so that's covered under that. But you can go to these people if you're not getting the results that you need in the time frame that you want. That's, you can go to them first, last, whatever you want to do. Either way, they are the people that are over their heads, basically like their supervisors, bosses, whatever, and you can go and get them in trouble with their boss if they're not doing what they're supposed to do. Okay? So let me know where we at right now. Let me know where we at, because I just went through a lot of stuff and I don't, you know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Let me go back to looking at the chat because I can't see the chat from where I'm at. The video will be saved. I don't know. Is the video looping? Can y'all see me? Let me see. Yep. The video is going to be saved. If y'all need to go back over anything, there will be a playback, obviously, on my YouTube page as soon as I get off of this live. I don't want to keep y'all up all night, so, you know what I'm saying? This is going to be like the, this is going to be like the wrap-up part. Cool. I'm glad everybody could see me. Just making sure everybody can see me, you know what I'm saying? And, I'm so glad y'all is on here with me because I wouldn't be here without y'all guys. So, in conclusion, let's go over what an actual practice would look like. So, in the chat, can y'all tell me where is the lie? Let me see if I can get a little bit closer for y'all because this get real serious. Okay? So, let me see if y'all can put what y'all just learned into practice. Do y'all see any violations on this letter? Yes or no? Simple as that. I don't even want to know what violations y'all see because I'm not even going to hold y'all accountable like that. So, if you see any violations on this page, let me know. Because I'm going to go from top to bottom and tell you every single one. So, let's start with the top. The first thing on here is a violation. The LCA collections at the top, huge violations. You are not allowed to identify yourself as debt collector and contact me about any type of debt. Okay? So, you have your logo on here, already a violation. There's a past due sign on here, already a violation. Past due for what? We don't know because we don't even know if we owe this debt. So, immediate payment required. Ooh, that sounds like obscene and abusive language because I didn't know I was required to pay anything. If somebody walked up to you on the street right now and said immediate payment required, are you going to feel like you have to pay this person something, or is they just a crazy person on the street? Because that's what they sounded like. They're just crazy people on the street asking people for money, in my opinion. But like, so it says we're contacting you because your account is past due. Our records indicate your debt to LabCorp has not been satisfied and is seriously past due. So, I don't even know who LabCorp is. I don't even know I owe LabCorp. Who is you? Who are we talking to? They didn't even tell me who I am yet. I don't see my name nowhere on here, first of all. Anyways, at this time, it has not been placed with a third-party collection agency. But you was thinking about it. So, failure to pay the past due amount will result in referral to a third-party collection agency and potentially affect your credit score. So they is threatening to put my credit score down. Yo, like, wow. Do you see the stuff I be talking about? But anyways, what I'm saying to you is, this is literally abusive language. Like, this is literally a threat. Like, that's like saying, you don't pay me this money and I'm gonna key your car. Like, whoa. I don't even know you. Like, so, you see what I'm saying? I just want you to be able to recognize these violations when you're reading your bank statements and not your bank statements, your bills in the mail, like utility bills, whatever bills, even, parking tickets, police tickets, whatever. All of these count as a debt. So, whatever you not cool with hearing is whatever is not cool with you. So, LabCorp reserves the right to refuse laboratory services or failure to pay past due balances. I don't know who gave them that right. If y'all know who gave them that right, please let me know, because it does not say anything about them being able to discriminate against you for not being able to pay the past due balance. You have to at least validates that I owe the past due balance first, please. Because Jesus Christ. Anyways, if you with me, say amen. So, it says, to pay, or if you have any questions about this bill, contact them at wherever whoop-de-woo, and they give you payment arrangements. I'm trying to figure out at where it said, like, if they would at least put your contract with your signature in the mail with the bill, I could, like, understand, but I don't, and then they're telling you what type of things to pay in, and they're telling you to pass through amount, and I wish we could zoom in on this a little bit more, because I want you to see that this past due amount comes in a positive freaking balance. Have you ever seen this exact same balance in your bank account that says 175.81? Did you ever feel like paying off your bank account? Put a 1 in the chat if you ever felt like paying off your bank account. Oh, okay. So I just want you to understand that there is no debt to pay on this paper. So I'm trying to figure out how I can owe a past due positive balance in the first place. Let's talk about that. So if we can find at least 5 to 10 violations on this bill alone to get paid for, that's at least $5,000 in your pocket. And I'm not playing, because if you look on Pacer, there are millions of people that have gotten paid settlements of more than $5,000 for these exact violations. I am not playing with y'all. Please go and get y'all money. They do owe y'all this money. They are not going to sit here and get away with this. And they're only going to get away with it as long as you let them. So this is why I'm trying to make you aware of this. You can go and Google these laws. These are real federal laws. They do protect you because you are the one who started the transaction in the first place. I just want you to get your money, okay? So if everybody understands that, then we all on the same page. There's a couple of resources that I have for y'all that y'all can, tap into. Text the opt-out number and you will get a list of these resources as well. So if you text opt-out to the same number that I said earlier, then you will get a list of these resources. So I'm going to wrap this up because I'm not trying to keep y'all on here all goddamn night. But, I'm pretty sure I covered a whole bunch of bases here. So if you got any type of, if you learned anything from this joint at all, let me get some ones in the chat. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer all of those. You see how, yes, Money Mark, you see how bold they be talking to people, man? Like who told y'all to do this? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because even Microsoft has to ask me to agree to put stuff on my computer. At least they nice about it. They're not even nice about it. So what I'm saying is, I need y'all to go get y'all money from these people, and I need y'all to get y'all stuff off get this stuff off your report, because it's not supposed to be there in the first place. If you don't want it to be there, then it's not supposed to be there. Period. So I hope I helped somebody today. I hope, I lost like half my nails. But I hope I helped somebody today. I hope somebody learned something from all of this. If you need me, I'm on Instagram @_MissFixit. My email is info@esolutions.help. You can go to my website, esolutions.help. And that's it, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I know this is going to be the illest playback, but you know what I'm saying? I love you guys, and I really appreciate you guys for coming. So, let me know if y'all need me, and I'm always going to be here. I appreciate you guys, too. Wait. Shit. I ain't got no more nails left on, y'all. But anyways, alright. I'll see y'all.